say it again. It's a Wine Wednesday. Welcome back. We're in the middle of summer entertaining season. That means you probably need some tips, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you need some tips for your summer party, we've got you covered. Give it up for Leslee Miller from Amuse Wine. Did I say that right? Amuse. Why did we have me read that one instead of Kendall? I blame producer Ted for that one.
Ted's fault.
Yeah.
Leslee, this all actually smells really good. I can smell all the fresh fruit.
I love it.
I am one of those entertainers, just like that said, that I love having people over, but I never know what to serve. So thank God you're here.
Thank goodness I'm here. And I got to tell you, this should be way easier than you think, even if you can't cook, right?
Thank you.
Yes.
Just buy a platter and then buy the wine.
And any of these will go string cheese, so we're set.
Perfect.
Let's start with what to do with your leftover wine. I know that you two don't have that issue.
No, never.
Not a problem.
Okay,
No
all right.
problem.
But you know what? I did lead a virtual class last night, and it was the middle of the week, and so a lot of professionals said, well, what if I can't finish this wine? And I said, I have the solution.
Right.
So what I like to do is pull out, see that cute little green? You know, we're making all these fancy cocktail cubes now, right? So they're the big cubes, so they actually dissolve a little bit slower in your cocktail. But what you can do is you can put your leftover wine, which hopefully there's just like a glass or two left, and then you freeze it.
And it will freeze.
It will freeze.
Okay.
It does take a little bit longer to freeze, but it will freeze through. And then we also know that you might go to the store and have leftover herbs because you were cooking.
Trying.
Failing.
Yes.
And instead of wasting, you know, $87 in herbs.
Well, it's true. You use like, they ask you for a pinch and you're like, well, they gave me this clump, so.
So I snip them up and actually put them in with my leftover wine and I freeze it. And now you can walk around your little neighborhood with frozen rosé if you want to, and keep your rosé a little bit colder if you're walking around in 89 degrees outside. How cool is that?
That's a great. So I see that you have a rubber
thank you so
specific,
much.
like a really large ice cube holder. Is that really what works best, or does it just look the prettiest?
It looks the prettiest. You can do smaller, and I do like it. I did freeze a little bit of basil inside of the wine cube.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Isn't
I mean,
it
if you're a guest at someone's house, you're like immediately drawn to it because it just looks fancy.
Right, and it will keep your wine nice and cold the whole time because it's dissolving wine.
I get to try this now, don't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
You get to try
thank
it.
you.
What do you have next?
Okay,
I love me the reds.
Yeah, so now we're talking about chillable reds. I mean, I cannot talk enough about this category. Light-bodied red grapes do deserve a little chill. I do love things like Pinot Noir and Gamay. Jason always knows that I love to bring a Gamay on the show.
You always say Gamay, and I'm like, yes, I like Gamay too, Leslie.
I did not bring those grapes today. I brought Sangiovese. I brought actually a little Cinsault from France, and then I brought this cool red grape called Brachetto that we're going to use in our Sangria next. Brachetto.
Okay.
So if the body of the red wine or red grape is a little bit lighter on the scale, put a teensy tiny chill on it. It kind of snaps up the fruit a little bit.
So when you say a tiny bit of chill, I mean, I've never been good about this. I'm like, oh, red wine, you just serve it room temperature.
Right.
You just throw it in the fridge for a little while.
You can, or you can just tap it, or you can put it right on top of ice.
Oh, okay.
So you're wanting to bring it down to around 55 degrees.
Okay.
Not that you have like a meat thermometer.
Your little meat thermometer. Well, that is what I use my meat thermometer for. I mean, I don't use it for the meat.
You do cook, yeah, with wine.
For the wine. Well, that really does help. I mean, it just gives it a different flavor.
Yes,
I think.
it's really snappy, super bouncy, and keeps these red wines really, really fresh. And I love this in the summertime. So fun.
I'm just going to keep drinking.
You keep drinking.
Okay.
Next.
Let's not forget about this box wine and canned wine and the mini-me situation going on over here.
Okay.
I'm going to crack these for you both. This is probably one of my favorite sets. This is Ramona, which is actually a little grape called Zabibo out of, let's forget about that grape, out of Sicily. But the producer actually blends it with natural fruit juices. So this one's lemon and this one's grapefruit.
Okay.
And I love it because they're lower in calories and they're also low in natural sugar. And so you're dealing with, these are so cute. And
Oh, wow. It's delicious.
So delicious.
It's very.
Oh, that's very good.
Isn't that so yummy?
It doesn't have the same odd sometimes aftertaste that like any of those spritzers can have. It's much more wine based, but still delicious.
I know this is going to come to us as a surprise to a lot of people. I don't really have a refined palate, I would say, but this is actually very delicious.
Blissfully unaware is what I call that.
We're also going to do a little box wine too. Look, I already have it ready for us, you guys.
Yeah.
All ready to go. The box wine category, do not sleep on it. There's so much available. I mean, and then also, I haven't always been a fan of the tiny 187s, but these are so great. This is a fun little wine out of Oregon. They're coming from all over the world and amazing price points. So sections, just go right to them.
Well, and I would think too that that's nice for, you were saying, if you have someone who doesn't want to finish their whole bottle or they just want a tiny glass of something, that's a really good option.
That's right. And a box will actually last 6 weeks. So what I do is I put reds, whites, rosés right into my fridge. And then, now be careful with box wine at home.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful,
because it's in a box.
I like box wine and I cannot lie. I gotta tell you,
That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Yes. I gotta tell you, it's really dangerous because you never know how much you're drinking.
Sure.
And then you're like, whoopsies, 4 bottles.
But it's nice
totally
for a party. I mean, you know, a lot of
it
people
is.
there.
So
I've been waiting for this.
Sangria.
Yes.
Okay, so Sangria, we have a couple of different twists on this. I really, to be honest, I'm gonna throw those internet recipes, you know, under the bus because they're just not good, you guys. They're not good.
Just terrible.
You know, and I am not a fan of adding more alcohol basically to your, you know, the old school sangrias that say add a cup of brandy or Cointreau.
Yes.
I mean, how buzzed do we really need to get? We don't, especially in the summer. Well,
For this show, I think I would be a
Gaga
lot
fan.
better if I was,
Gaga
just to be
fan.
fair.
You'd be very amusing, everyone.
Yeah.
So you can do kind of variations. I have the red over here that's really fruit forward. Fruit. And then this one is, we've talked about this before, we like Aperol Spritz,
Yes,
we like
yes.
little Campari. I like kind of like that bitter component. So what I did is a super dry white with really zesty citrus, a little bit of mint. I always throw herbs into my sangrias. And then what I did is I added some bitters, the same kind of bitters that you would put into a cocktail.
Okay.
So I added
now in
grapefruit bitters to that. So it should be like
delicious.
super zesty and really. What'd you guys think?
I really liked it.
This is my favorite so far. This is 100% my favorite so far.
I would agree. So just a quick recap, because I know we got to go. So you said a really dry white with this, with some like grapefruit. You have oranges in there, I see, some basil. And then what was the wine and pairings with the red?
So I just took this little light-bodied red, I put it in with strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and that's just really, really, really fruit forward. So if you want something super fruity and juicy, happy-go-lucky, that's the way to go. I love that. So a little bit more on the tang, a little bit more on the fruit.
Well, cheers to that.
Cheers to
Thank
that.
you,
Cheers.
Leslie. For more information, of course, you can go to Amuse, not Amuse. How did you say it?
I'm just going to keep drinking.
AmuseWine.com, everybody. We'll be right back. Let's go see what Pierre says, but I'll say it. Cheers.
Cheers.